Welcome to Vikings and Valkyries, an actual play podcast. We are playing When the Wolf Comes, a role-playing game set in the twilight of gods and men. My name is Ian Stewart Sharp, and I will be your Hellblinder for the ongoing campaign, which we call the Thought and Memory Saga. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory this week are the morsels of meat we know as Bill, Steve, CJ, and Anina. Welcome, one and all.
Thank you.
So, welcome back after the winter break. I presume you all managed to avoid the wild hunt. No one whisked away by Allfather Odin?
I mean, for a little while.
Did you leave hay in your stockings for Sleipnir? That's the tradition?
No, that was the problem.
While we were away, we actually got some people asking us why we were away and hoping that we would never come back. No, actually, they were quite nice. They said, are we expecting more episodes? To which I said, well, you know, as long as you pay me enough danger money, then I'll see what I can do.
Yes, I believe they explicitly asked about Gigi's magnetism.
That's exactly right. The fan mails were basically requesting you to send signed photographs. Anyway, we're back with a bang for 2025, and this time we are joined by writer, producer, and actor Anina Kaski, who's taken a moment out of her role as Saga in Bardic Quest to join us today and show you all how it's done. Anina, welcome.
Fair enough.
Yeah, hello. Yes.
I listened to
Thank
some.
you very
Absolutely.
much. Thank you. I don't need to do an intro because that was perfect. That's literally what I do.
We desperately need someone to show us how it's done.
Sorry, Ian, did you actually bring in a professional? What is this?
I think we may be all on the chopping block, CJ.
Well, first of all, you were already on the chopping block every single episode. And secondly, yeah, it was my New Year's resolution to try and do something to improve our fortunes.
No
CJ, you didn't have much of a break, did you? Because over the 12 days of Christmas, you were just writing the 12 Viking-related articles of Yule instead.
Yes, I wrote a whole lot of articles over the break, didn't I? I was on vacation, so I got to do things that I like to do.
There are endless articles about Viking stuff on your blog, which I encourage everyone to read.
And I wrote a book as well. I sent it to my editor, and even he was like, what are you doing with your life? I was like, I had 2 weeks off.
Anina, you're a writer as well, as is Steve.
Yes.
What things have you penned recently, and did you do them all within 2 weeks?
No, I'm more of a think about it for a couple of months and then do the burst. I am working on a book, a semi-autobiographical book, but that's going to take a while. And also on a sitcom pilot. I usually write either very, very dark stuff or black comedy. So I'm going to try and just write comedy. And that's what I'm working on.
We'll allow Bill and Steve to treat this as a bit of an audition to see whether they can, jam their odd couple routine into your sitcom.
Yeah.
I'm curious, do the English have any sort of tradition of darker comedy?
Well, I'm a bit of a half breed.
Oh.
Yes. I'm Finnish, so I'm Finnish, bilingual, and I grew up in Oxford. So I'm a bit of a I like to say a cultural half breed, even though I am, completely Finnish. We do a mix. Our Finnish Christmas is on Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day. So what me and my husband do is we take turns what day we celebrate it on. And this year was the proper one, which was Christmas Eve. Though I do prefer, controversial, I'm sorry for any Finns who might be listening, I prefer British Christmas food. Apart from the dessert. So,
apart from the desserts, apart from plum pudding, figgy pudding.
I made some gingerbread, so.
Well, we can't talk too much about food, primarily because CJ has got a touch of something.
He's looking great.
I gurgled at the thought of English food.
Yeah.
Not as bad.
Is what has befallen you, CJ, is it the revenge of the Draugr Bjarni? Did your fart runes reverberate back on you?
Yes, they came back with a vengeance. Oh boy. I won't go much further than that.
Yeah.
You can see on the news there's an outbreak, and I laughed it off and I said, I'm going to live my life, and I did. And my son came back from daycare and
it's always
watery diaper. I remember
the kids.
The daycare lady was like, he had a really watery diaper. We had to change his clothes. I was like, okay, that's not a big deal, right? And then a day later, my wife and I are both just
There we go. So fans of a delicate disposition are listening to this. Probably tune out now. Here? Stop the recording. Yeah. That reminds me, because we, obviously the show must go on, and Anina, you can probably testify to that. It's an important mantra in performance art such as this is. But that reminds me, we made Ed play in episode 2 when he had strep throat and could barely talk. He died in that episode. Has anyone checked in on him to see whether he's actually just dead, or his character?
He's lost his voice permanently. I was talking to my sister, and but the family was not upset. I think he is, but he can't say anything, so no one's really sure. But the rest of them are fine. His sisters are fine with that.
It's for the best.
It's for the best. He was a bit sassy anyway, so.
All right. Well, Ed, if you do listen to this, then feel free to mime in your complaints. Every episode, I like to see whether you can earn your Adinic inspiration points. And so this week, I have a question for you that's inspired by Anina's love of Lord of the Rings. If we chatted last week and you said you had a Lord of the Rings inspired wedding, is that correct?
Yes, we did indeed. We got married in November, so very, very recently.
Bill is showing us his collection of Tolkien books, forgetting that it's an audio medium.
It was for you, Ian.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciated it.
Ordinarily I cover up your window so I don't have to any of that.
I know he's not joking. Anyway, that's true.
All right, so the question for your inspiration points, which you can potentially spend to save yourself an appalling demise, is this: can you name me 5 races that occur in Tolkien's works that were drawn from Norse mythology?
Ooh. It's a tricky one. Well, elves.
Elves is correct. Tolkien's elves were drawn partly from Celtic mythology, partly from Norse, and the division between his Calaquendi, the elves of light, and the Morriquendi, the elves of darkness, such as Steve is, echoes that Norse division between the dökkálfar and the Losselfar, the light elves and the dark elves. So that is very apropos, CJ. And that is one of the 5.
Depends how direct the correlation has to be. Surely the hobbits and the halflings, because
I cannot give you that one, mainly because I have excised any of the small folk with hairy feet from When the Wolf Comes. But no, they were an invention of Tolkien's own. They don't come from Norse mythology. And I'll give you another clue as well. It's not gnomes, because gnomes were the invention of a 17th century Swiss mythologist.
The things you know, Ian. Dwarves. I'll go there. Let's go
there
dwarves.
Dwarves, correct. Dwarves are Diverga.
I should have gone slightly taller.
So he took the names of 12 of his 13 dwarves that are in The Hobbit from the Old Norse Völuspá, which is part of the Elder Edda, and he also took Gandalf's name from that as well, which is effectively wand elf.
It's a lesser known race, but I'm guessing maybe the Bombadilians came from an original Norse source. And we only know one in the extant words.
The Bombaloids.
You're going to lose us that inspiration point.
I always do, CJ. Come on.
We've basically flushed that down the toilet.
Go for Ents. Surely Ents.
Good one.
Northern mythology.
Bill, you should have guessed that one.
Ents are not
being a jerk.
Ents,
really?
Ents are not on my list.
Damn it! I suck at this quiz.
All right, the Eagles then.
No.
Well, they're Maiar. I thought
Trolls,
maybe the
guys.
Maiar.
Trolls. Come on. The trolls. The
Well, why
trolls,
you-
100%.
Why are you sitting there looking sickly instead of offering that up earlier? Come on, Savoy. It's
Because
getting ugly fast tonight.
I'm letting this be a team effort.
So yes, in Norse
And
mythology,
the dragons.
yeah, I will accept the dragons and
That
Drakkar
was
as well in the Norse sense. And trolls, obviously called Orlisa, Jotnar, or Thessa in Old
Isn't
Norse. Although, ironically, the idea that monsters like trolls be below ground before dawn dates to the Edda in the Alvismal, but the god Thor in that keeps the dverg or the dwarf, not a troll, talking until dawn, and then sees him turn to stone. So yeah, a little bit of a blending of things that Tolkien made more clearly separate. All right, so I've got dwarves, elves, and trolls correct.
Dragons. I said
Dragons.
dragon.
Yep.
Yeah.
They hoard the
Any more?
gold.
4.
One more, just one more.
This is very irritating, Ian. I can't begin to tell you.
What about ogres?
Nope, they're wrapped in with trolls, but
Yeah, Steve. Jeez.
not giving you that.
I'm sorry, it's not part of my family tree.
This is very irritating. Why can't I think of anything else?
I feel like I'm gonna get another, klaxon noise, but orcs, or is that same as?
Oh my God.
Well, orcs isn't too bad because they are referred to in poems like Beowulf, which is Anglo-Saxon, as the Orkneys, or the devil corpses. I tell you what, out of the spirit of you've just joined us and I don't want to be mean, we'll give you the inspiration point. You could have had the Balrog, which comes from the name of Odin's eye, the Baelai, a nickname for Odin, his epithet. You could have had wargs.
I was going to say wargs. I was, but I just
Yeah.
You were so snarky about my last.
Do you want me to edit? Do you want me to edit it in afterwards?
Yeah, wargs.
What about,
there you go.
What about Beorn?
Yeah, you could have had Beorn as a shapeshifter.
Oh,
As a shapeshifter, very similar to Bjarki, the warlike little bear of Norse myth. Well, you could have had wizards as well. Wizards as a kind of race.
Oh, I nearly said wizard.
I was just thinking, old men with beards.
Oh,
wait, but wouldn't the Bombadillion count then in that case? I mean, he's not a true wizard, but he's magical.
Yeah.
The ring does not affect him.
You've already got your 5. So now
Yes, but we're overachievers.
Yes.
We have a professional with us today.
as we show all the time, we're overachievers. So, Ian, I just want to clarify that's 1 inspiration point each, I believe.
Oh, at least.
Yes. That's you always like to clarify that, but no, it's 1 between you all to fight over.
Yeah, I know that's the answer. I was just.
So I'm going to give you a chance for a bonus point. Let's do double or quits.
Okay.
It's because that's funny. For the bonus point, Anina, can you name some Finnish influences on Tolkien?
Yeah.
Especially because of the Kalevala.
Yeah.
Which is the Finnish national epic that he so you can't mention that one, but what other ones on it?
Well, Elvish is inspired by Finnish and Welsh.
Oh, truly?
Yes.
Very true.
He was Finnophile. He was, and I mean, I've always said that. Well, that basically makes Finnish people elves. So I'm actually an elf.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
very
no,
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very proud
Math
of it.
adds up.
So yeah, he visited Helsinki and loved the language, read the epic, which is similar to but very distinctly different from Norse mythology. So for instance, we have our own god of thunder, similar, but we want in our own one. So we have a god of water, Mother Earth, and loads of druids. And me and Ian were talking about how the sort of Kalevala druids are very, very wizardy. So,
Bill, you remember Vainamoinen from your Fiend Folio or Monster Manual 1 or Gods and Demigods, whichever one it was in.
Yeah, I've got all the old ones. I don't. Yeah, of course I remember.
Yes.
Yes, and what you had for breakfast yesterday. Anyway, so Alpha, yes, the elves. He invented his Elvish language of Quenya, influenced by the phonology and structure of Finnish. And so, I mean, if you wouldn't mind, if you and Bill could just, for the purposes of this whole episode, speak to each other in Finnish, I'd appreciate that. Bill crash course for you as an Alpha.
Happily do that.
I think, Bill, if you're going to do it properly, you may as well.
Again,
I'm getting a little headache, Ian.
Yeah, this should be good.
Okay. Good thing it's an audio podcast.
Such hilarity. All right, we will start with this week's adventure, which is called, and I don't want to put you off before we've even begun, but it is called The Horror of Fangstone Mine. Yeah, so it's a light and breezy outing. It shouldn't cause anyone any consternation.
Is that how we all
one
pronounce
of those picnic episodes?
Exactly. So we left it just before the wintry break. We left our intrepid heroes. They had returned from the Troll's Tongue, brandishing the land deed to the whole of Heimslet, which is now under review, being authenticated by the law speaker, Krepti Thorfridson. He had suggested to you, very strongly suggested to you, that you authenticate the claims of Bjarni Bjarnason and his Jotnar son Daniel, and see whether the document indeed pertains to their family lineage. And because the former imperial capital holds those records, it's a place known well to Steve, the former capital of Kongstein, and it was broadly decided that you should head across the fjord, across the gulf that straddles Heimslet, and make your way to the former capital to see whether you can retrieve said imperial records. Steve, did you have anything to say on the subject of Kongstein before you go there? Some words of warning, some suggestions to your colleagues and compatriots here, or do you want to let them blunder in unawares?
Well, the blundering's going to happen regardless. But I think the really salient points are it's a horrible place. Everyone will hate us and try to kill us, but the music is awesome.
Good summary. All right, so this adventure is set in the last days of autumn or fall, if you're from a different continent to me. The darkness is broken by a shimmer of pastel pink, gold and silver in the southern skies. Throughout this adventure, I want you to imagine that the landscape is bathed in subtle yet mesmerizing twilight. And of course, the crimson scar glows in the sky, clearer than ever. Krepti Thorfridson has organized passage for you. It's a journey of a few hours, and he has made introductions to a local pilot called Harbard, who knows the churning waters of the Hellsund well. You are able to make your way to the docks, where you can waive such dockets and papers as the law speaker has given you to requisition travel in Harbard's boat. You will also notice that as you do so, and you find the ferryman there, in the back of his boat, huddled in a dark cloak, is another figure, and will introduce Anina shortly should you choose to, but there is definitely a foreboding presence holed up in the back.
Is there a latrine nearby on the boat? I would like some privacy. I think I've eaten some spoiled something. It's urgent.
I suggest you use the latrine the guards provided you with. Aegir himself, you just need to toddle off into there, boy.
It points to the direction, please.
He merely gestures to the end of the pier.
Bye.
That's something cold in it today, boy.
Is he going to be doing this all day today? Running off to the end of the pier?
The man, he's not quite himself. He's not quite anyone else either.
I miss food, but I don't miss that.
The ferryman reaches out to you and says, "Are you right, boy? How you going?"
We have paperwork here. Harbord, is that your name?
Aye.
We have...
That's a load of scrat, innit?
Yeah. We have all these papers that apparently say you will take us to Fangstone.
You want to get in my boat and go up the old city?
Yes, we do.
And that on and all, he's covered in Charlie Pigs and Hairy Wiggles. He's gesturing at Bill's character, the Alpha Liomi, who is festooned with bugs.
While this is happening, you would have seen my character sort of peering over the edge and looking over, and then suddenly plunging a hand into the water and pulling out a very large, very wiggly fish. That one.
That's a useful skill.
Liomi steps closer and addresses the dark figure. I see you are communing with nature, as am I.
Huh?
You speak to the fish. You reach for the fish. You connect to the fish.
I was going to eat it.
Yes, very good. Yes.
And during this, the hood would have fallen off. And you see a brown, sort of snouted creature. Looks slightly like a bear. Not quite. Oh, hello. I'm not sharing this.
Not to worry. I have no need of such sustenance unless it's been mingled into the ground. Please continue, creature. What manner of creature are you then?
Oh, I mean, I was a wolverine, but now I'm half of one.
Indeed.
Still flapping. The fish is just like flapping around in her hand.
In game terms, in this universe, Anina is a Yarnvidger, an Ironwoodite, a child of the Ironwood, uplifted to sentience by the Verdandi, the Green Seers of Jotunheim. They were child soldiers bred for war, and you know full well their fearsome reputation.
What is your name, creature?
Alma. Pleased to meet you.
Likewise.
A lot of people call me Beast, which I don't mind, but my name is Alma.
I shall call you Beast.
If you can remember. The ferryman says, "Stop you piddling, Martha."
Alma.
All right then, Martha. Now that one. You the new Jarley? That femme bogey, he owed me a pint of bear. I driv all the way to the tongue, and on his way back that snoo. Beautiful, he said. He got something hoddy-doddy from the snoo, and then he says to me, "What you got, man?" And after a few bears, well, I was on the hut. That will learn me.
Quite.
I used to have one of those.
Oh, you offering me a bear?
We know where to find bears if you're interested in one.
Oh, I like a bear.
They like men.
Well, I know that's the only ones that are going to drink it, isn't it?
Drink it.
A nice frosty bear.
A frosty bear. Air's wondering if he's having a stroke.
He is.
At this moment, Gigi walks back up the pier and gets onto the ferry and just says, "All right, are we ready to go? Are we going to the old city? Are we done? Have you had all your pleasantries? Are we?"
Oh, you hard. I ain't a higgler, but I can't be affording you jollifications.
What? They showed you the papers. Did they? Did they not?
My heart alive, slow ye down, hoe hard.
And then he catches Anina's character out of the corner of his eye and sees the fish flopping around. He goes, "You're not going to eat that, are you?"
Yes.
Just don't do it in front of me, please. Not today. For a lifetime.
Turn around.
You turn around. I'm a fucking Jarl.
And I have claws. Turn around.
I've got a gun. Who the
So
fuck
do
are you
I.
anyway?
That slummoking great Marba come running, and she was something savage. She'd put on her parts, she didn't know what had done it. God, heck, that's a rummin'. So, where's we going? Up the city?
Yes.
To the wharf at Fangstone.
Well, stop ye blaring and cracking then.
Right.
So, you're a mixed bunch. Where are you going? I mean,
to
why
the old city. Oh, why?
Why are you going to Fangstone?
Important business for the Jarl, the law speaker, the man, one of the men.
Oh, God tongue, yeah.
Quite, indeed.
Did you want to do any introduction to yourselves? Because as far as Anina's concerned, there's three strange people have just turned up at the boat that she was happily on.
Minding her own business.
CJ spent several episodes telling us that the first order of business, especially in French society, is to introduce yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
And then he just runs off to the edge of the pier and squits all over the side.
It was an introduction of sorts.
He's having a bad day.
So, I'm Alma.
Oh.
You are...
Oh, thank you for reminding us to introduce ourselves. Where are my manners? I ate some bad something. And then he...
Oh, you have to catch the fish fresh.
And he tries to flit his cape and do his normal strut, but he's just a little off today. And he goes, I'm Griotka, the Magnificent. My friends called me Gigi, but short.
I used to know a dog called Gigi.
Very similar, I think you'll find. I am Yomi, a spirit of nature, of the connection of all the energies of the living world, and although I am normally quite cheerful and friendly, I am still grieving for the loss of my dear friend, who died tragically some time ago, and although we were very close, I feel I could have treated him better in life. Yes, I'm inconsolable, so don't attempt to console me.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Air.
No, Air is the dead one. You're a robot.
I'm the one accompanying this imbecile who believes I'm dead. Instead, I am currently temporarily incarcerated in a robot body.
Yeah, you smell...
Delusional.
I smell probably of like hydraulic fluid or something. This body is ancient and falling apart. I assure you, I am in this entirely without my consent.
Oh.
I am a spirit of the earth, and I look to return to a more perfect body soon, I hope.
Alma, you're assaulted by the stench of all of these people, whether it's bugs, beetles, fuel and hydraulics, or whatever is currently staining Gigi's satin pants.
I think Lyomi's a little more woody and sort of earthy rather than a stench. I feel
probably
stench
the best smelling one.
strong. Yes. Yeah.
No, it's a stench.
Eau de forest. Is that what you're going for? All right. Well, again, the ferryman Harbord says to you, "Come you here. I'm going to ride out my boat across the diamond road."
Great. As soon as this Gigi is ready to go.
Oh, he's ready to go. He's going right now.
Let's go. Let's push.
No.
Pushing. So you begin your journey across the Arctic fjord in this rusty speedboat, the cold morning air stinging your faces as the clapped-out motor chugs through the glassy water. You're surrounded by these towering snow-peaked cliffs, bathed in the uncanny glow of the crimson scar in the sky. The world around you is deathly quiet, occasionally interrupted by the shrieks of Arctic terns overhead, the playful breaches of curious seals, and the pops of Gigi as he sits on one side of the boat. Oh, anyways, you churn almost, that's perhaps the wrong word to use as well, a mere speck amidst the world of frost and stone until you reach the far shore and Fangstone, hooves into view. Once the capital of the region bustling with life, the ghost town is now silent, an eerie window into the past. Silhouetted reindeer roam freely, their bodies contrasting starkly against the snow-blanketed backdrop, unmoved by your arrival. As he pulls up to the wharf, to the jetty, and ties off the boat, Harbord says to you, "I want to be getting home soon before that snow. I ain't been stingy, but I'll get you to the afternoon. Do you keep a trashing?"
Robot, you speak robot. Speak to the man who speaks robot. It's clearly robot.
I don't speak rustic. Can anyone translate?
So you're only going to take us this far?
I'll get you to the afternoon, are you, Dutsy?
Yes,
Certainly.
she is.
So we are at the wharf of Fangstone.
You're at the wharf of Fangstone, and I would
Is it-
advise everyone here that Air, the dökkálfar, he has crunched his way along the desolate paths of this abandoned city before, and so he is in possession of at least a mental map as to how this kind of time capsule suspended in the ageless winter landscape. He is in possession of this map, and he can guide you through the derelict pre-war buildings that stand eerily quiet.
Above table, is it safe to say that the archives would be at or near the palace?
That is a fair assumption. The imperial capital once held a palace of the Urtha. The Urtha are the name given to the combination of the secret police and the imperial midwives, the witches who run the empire behind the scenes. They are a termagant order who have their fingers into all imperial machinations.
Do any of Air's people live above ground?
Generally speaking, without giving too much of a history lesson, the dökkálfar were birthed, were forced into their automaton forms. They burrowed their way across the Newer Heimar to the world of Niflheim, the dark fields, and hid there for many centuries. In recent years, they have staggered across the greenways and infiltrated their former homes on Midgard. Your people were drawn to this particular region by the vast mineral wealth and burrowed deep beneath the mines here, the diamond mines that were once the basis and the reason for being called Fangstone or Kingstone.
So mostly underground then. I'm assuming there's no one here to meet us, and it's not likely we'll meet very many people on the surface. Is that a fair statement?
That is a fair statement. In terms of the menfolk, about 40 years ago, Fangstone was the main city of this World's End archipelago, with more people living in it than in Helpmakar today. But then the miners stumbled across something in the darkness, an underground knot, a direct portal to Niflheim, through which they spied legions of your steam devils, and barely comprehending what they saw, they all fled, leaving the town in an instant.
There's no one here to meet us, which is probably just as well. Era will suggest that we head west from here into the town. Well, what's left of the town on the surface. We'll find maybe shelter at the farms on the outskirts, or we could keep going into the residential area on our way to the palace.
Oh, you've been here before.
I have. Yes. I'm sort of from here, which is evasive. My people
Do you
dwell
remember
underground.
being put in the can?
I do. Yes. Being put in the...
Oh.
Yes.
Was it painful?
More spiritually than physically.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was that or oblivion. And apparently, I don't get to have oblivion.
Yes. How long will it take us to get to the place we're going? The palace, the records, the...
How fast can you run?
Oh, I like running. Can I come with? I'm looking for my brothers and sisters. I haven't seen them in a few years.
It would be safest to stay together, I think.
Oh,
it's about half a mile will get us to the outskirts, maybe a full mile to the palace.
Palace?
Mm-hmm. Well, what's left of it.
The buildings will be abandoned, but they will be otherwise intact. They were constructed before the war, designed with rounded edges to deflect the winter winds. Now, while they are deserted, the doors might be rusted or frozen shut, but they are all broadly intact.
Okay, and there's no sign of anyone on the surface from here?
Other than the reindeer mooching and eating the moss that they can find on the ground, then there is nothing else. Like I said, it's like stepping into a time capsule. Each of these wind whip structures casting a haunting shadow under the pale Arctic sun. As you walk towards Fangstone proper from the wharf, snow crunches underfoot, and a feeling of bleak, unrelenting solitude permeates the air.
Lovely.
Yomi turns to CJ and asks, have you finished making fertilizer?
I
He
hope
hasn't.
so.
I can smell it.
Try and save some for later. Lead on, Dverger. Lead on, robot.
Yes.
I thought you were going to go Shakespearean there and just go with lead on Macduff in an attempt to impress Anina. But
Is this a bot I see before me?
Very.
I did a lot of Shakespeare, and in Canada we do Shakespeare correctly, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
really?
Brits wouldn't understand. You always act like you invented the language or something. But anyway,
Well, I
Near
only
the
treated the boards doing Romeo and Juliet, but what would I know?
you played both parts. Interesting.
No,
At
I
the
played
same
the
time.
nurse and the prince, actually.
Nice.
I was hilarious.
Very good. Well, let's not make worms meat of anyone just yet. Near the water's edge, a polar bear, an Isbjorn, sits comfortably, his white coat blending seamlessly with the icy, snowy surroundings. He's devouring a carcass, presumably its own kill, oblivious to you and the rest of the world.
Typically, we would have a man available to throw at the polar bear
We have
to
a man.
ensure our safe
Gigi,
passage.
Gigi, boldly lead the way.
Can we go around? Wait,
Oh.
which way's the wind blowing?
Well, that's really a question for yourself, certainly.
Because it's gonna smell us.
Let's do this. Let's make a slight roll. The first roll of 2025 to see whether your rather exotic odors are detected and whether you manage to creep past. And you've got plenty of bonuses to your sleight because you are a stealthy and Arctic wise Wolverine.
Yes.
Remember the weasel thing.
How many D6s would you like me to roll?
I'm going to allow you to roll an extra 1. So you roll your dice 20 and roll a couple of D6 and try and impress us with that first roll.
And her rule will count for the rest of us. Am I
If it's
understanding
good.
correctly?
If it's good, yeah.
So 1d20. Altogether, 13.
That's super. In the spirit of the new year, I'm not going to make CJ roll with 6 woes for his undulating tum-tum, and we'll assume...
Undulating tum-tum.
Yeah.
He has a way with words.
We'll allow you to glide on by and not be prey for yet another Isbjorn. Which building would you like to head towards, Steve? I assume you are being Pathfinder.
Yep. Air is providing useful guidance and advice for moving ahead, but I think Air would encourage everyone else to keep an eye out. We should be wary of others we see on the surface because they will be wary of us. But we've just made it. We've just walked past an Icebjorn with no casualties, and that's certainly a good omen for us.
It's probably our moment of good luck.
That was it right there. Yeah. First thing we're going to come across would probably be the farms on the outskirts.
Correct. Which are a few dilapidated barns There's some rusted wire and some animal pens. Perhaps once it held cattle, pigs, horses, but it is very empty now and just blanketed in snow.
How close to sunset is it, and how important is it that we not be outside? We could find somewhere to shelter here or press on.
You left in the early morning.
Okay.
This will be approaching midday.
Oh,
Because of the time of year, as I described, the sun only really surfaces briefly. In just a few more weeks, the sun will descend below the horizon for the last time, and you will be in 24 hours of darkness. But now it has a brief flirtation with the horizon. If you wanted to stay in sunlight, then you really do only have a few hours of daylight to play with, because the days are so truncated. And certainly, in case you didn't understand his rather heavy dialect, Harbord the ferryman is keen to be moving on sometime in the afternoon and be chugging away to safety. So you've probably got 4 hours before he departs. And to add a touch of urgency to your predicament here, marooned in this ghost town, I'm going to keep a timer, a clock going in the background, and occasionally just start to chime to warn you that time has passed and Harbord will be off again. You could make your way back through the mountains across the glacier and find a path back to Helmikar on foot. Certainly if you were as adept as Alma, but the rest of you might struggle.
Oh, we'll struggle. Where are the entrances to the underworld?
Your people traditionally just live within the diamond mines.
Oh, okay.
And so from your memory, the diamond mines are on the far side of the town.
It's to the north, right?
Exactly, dug into the steep hillsides. The town itself as a whole nestles under these kind of bleak outcrops that rise from the beaches on the fjord. All of the streets around you are littered with mining detritus. There's steel girders, there's rusted ironworks that lurch at odd angles. As far as you can tell, the only other inhabitants are a few hungry guillemots who are hustling, tussling for food.
So it's possible, however laughably unlikely, that we could get to the palace, rummage around in the basement, and get out without any of my people up at the mines noticing.
Sure, yeah. Hypothetically, that is possible.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
There's a
We
goal.
roll excellently the entire session.
Yeah, none of this will happen, but I mean, it gives a basis for a plan that will go awry pretty much immediately.
Maybe this time no one will die.
Maybe this is our chance. This is our time to shine.
So amidst those kind of high-pitched whistles of the guillemots in this abandoned town, the next thing that you would come across would be one of those apartment blocks where the miners presumably were housed.
Can we
sniffing the air?
There is nothing that you can smell, Alma in particular. Again, this place is desolate. You can smell the animals.
Yeah.
You can smell the odd rotting carcass, which does have a unique aroma that makes you salivate.
No, I've got stuff to do.
Yes, definitely.
I can't smell them.
One of the things about dökkálfar is in their caged forms, they tend to inhabit stone or metal bodies, which is not very odoriferous.
Yomi is going to use tree sight just to see if there's any sense of hidden or invisible creatures around at all.
So using your arboreal senses, you can reach out across wavelengths and spectrums that are beyond the norm for mammals, and you do get a sense that there are hollow eyes watching from the shadows.
Well, that's good news.
Good. Hollow eyes.
Can I sense which direction those eyes are, or just that we're being watched?
From in and around all of the abandoned, decrepit buildings, you can get the sense of stares boring into you. And you should bear in mind that as an Alpha, as a Los Alpha, the dökkálfar in general, not just Steed's version of them, probably don't like you very much.
Sensible creatures.
Through this, Alma would have been sort of inanely chattering, and she'll turn to Naomi, the Alpha.
Naomi, yep.
Are you gonna end up in a can as well?
No, I am protected, special even. I've been preserved again and again. It's a blessing. Unlike my poor companion who fell. Yes, everyone does. Everyone does much nicer than statues.
He'll end up as furniture, I expect.
Does CJ wince every time someone keeps saying can?
Oh. Not today.
I've got some licorice root. You should chew on it. Helps with the nausea.
Would it help?
Here you go.
Oh, I'll give it a try. All right.
I do like the fact that our resident physician, the Alpha with all of his healing herbs, hasn't so much as ventured into his medicine bank.
No.
I roll for something as I eat the licorice root. Roll for Constitution. Oh, sorry, this is not. We don't have that.
Don't mention that D&D malarkey on this podcast.
Habit.
Did you want to wander into the apartment block, or Steve, will you be choosing another one of the many buildings that are arrayed across your map?
We are on a schedule, so unless someone has a compelling reason to go and rummage around in the apartment block, I suggest we keep going.
Has he mentioned that we're being stared at? Because Alma couldn't smell anything.
Yeah, no, Naomi turns to the group and says, "We are being watched."
Oh, what? Where is it?
By
creatures, unliving creatures, maybe.
I love an audience. Should I sing for them?
Sure.
Sing?
He is a skald. He is prone to outbursts of bad poetry, a little like a Vogon.
Smells about the same as well.
Ooh.
Does anyone wish to take themselves on a tour of the apartment block?
Well, I can't smell any others like me. So
I'll give you a bit of a lie of the land so that you can all sense. So the apartment block is the nearest building. Similar in most of these northern towns, there is a sick house, a hospital building that is fairly well preserved. You can see that on the other side of the town square. The town square itself has a bust, a statue of the previous emperor, Dietbold, who watches over what looks like a parade ground that is now overgrown with weeds. And behind that statue of Dietbold is the Eartha Palace. You can see it just there's like a dark Odinic mill looming against the mountains. If there were a place where there would be a records library, there would be details or an archive that prove the ownership of the land attached to the deed, then that would be perhaps the place to go. On the other side of the town square is an empty gymnasium with a swimming pool. There's also near the centre of town a canteen and a dining hall similar to the cooking kettle that you know from Houtmaka, where the miners would have presumably once flocked. Those are the main buildings, and then as we said to the north is that mine entrance where some derelict mine railways scar the steep hillside up to the north and disappear into the darkness beyond.
My aim is the palace. How about everyone else? Alma, you were looking for someone?
yes, my brothers and sisters. I can't smell them, but
Okay.
Just give me a second, and she'll bolt inside the apartment building.
Okay.
Then you very much hear like crash, bang, before she rushes back out again. I didn't say anything.
So Alina has conducted a brief impromptu search there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what Alma sees in the building. A kind of whistle-stop tour. So it is clearly places where families were accommodated. The floorboards within are saggy and creak as you run along the corridors. They're full of sad, monochrome rooms with worn brown carpet. And then occasionally you see some of the bedroom walls are covered in maps with travel magazine clippings, with pin-ups of Frigga, with posters of Veru Likey games and I love Nervia York stickers. And so you also were able to look out and see that next to that abandoned apartment block was a playground, which looked rather incongruous on the desolate landscape.
She's very solo focused, so unless she can see anything that might hint to her siblings, she'll just kind of rush through.
There's plenty of pictures of other families, but none of them are Ironwood children. They are all menfolk.
Leomi says, "Beast, what did you see inside?"
Just loads of fan objects. It looked really old. Really old. I didn't see it.
You do notice something, Alma, though, as you come out. There's on one of the doors, you see a scratched cross, as if it's been used as a warning sign, with the words AOSSI underneath, AOSSI, and in the Jotnar brogue which you speak, you realize that is the word for elf, or alf, the alpha. So clearly someone speaking your tongue has written the word alf as a warning sign.
Look.
Yes.
Sensible, whoever they are.
He says elf. They seem scared of it.
Air points at Leomi. Alf. They are wise to be...
Yeah, that's what I said.
They are wise to be wary.
What would they do?
What indeed?
Dvugr, Leomi says, lead on to the place. Lead.
Yes, I was about to say, could we speed this along? Because I would like to get home in order to rest. We'll call it that. And take a bath.
That's tall words for someone who's the slowest in the group, but carry on.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
To the palace was your main direction?
To the palace, perhaps not up the middle of the square, perhaps along the dark, shadowy edge of the square. No sense inviting attention, any more than we have to.
Very good.
Normally, I would expect Gigi to march heroically up the middle of the square, but it doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem to be in the cards.
I don't think he's in the marching mood.
No,
he's probably doing a delicate little dance.
Just slow, shivering, tired,
slightly clutched with an unusual posture.
Yes, and no short amount of moans. Oh.
In one of the windows of the apartment building, Alma, give me an awareness roll, because you have the keen senses of the Wolverine.
I have a +2, so...
And then you have a wheel on this as well.
Ooh, that was not good. I'm not paying attention. That's a 4. Yes, I did roll both dice. I did roll both.
Yeah, welcome to the team. That's the kind of general incompetence that
you roll like shit. I don't mean to be insulting, but
yeah, you do.
You notice nothing, but you do hear the echoes of whispers carried on the wind.
Something.
Do we all hear whispers?
Her ears do that. Turning.
Only the Wolverine Alma hears these with her keen senses. Steve, your mechanical contraption doesn't have the latest patch to for its audio files.
Would Gigi notice her ears turning?
Yes, you'd notice the feral form of this creature tense, and perhaps the hairs prick up.
Do you hear something? Smell something?
I can hear whispering. If I concentrate on it more, do I make out anything more of the whispers? Like, even if I can't make out words, do I make out like?
You do not. It could have just been the wind blowing. It could have been the cries of a guillemot. It could have been the bluffs of a reindeer.
Well, shall we go in?
Yeah, it'll be fine. Mm-hmm.
If these are dökkálfar and air is any indication of their prowess, we'll be fine.
Air is dead, alas.
Yeah, I'm right here. All right, let us head out across the edge of the square and make our way towards the palace. I guess we'll move at like a reduced rate because we're all rapidly alert and aware and sensitive to any danger.
Okay, you can take a cautious approach, moving at half speed and add wheels to your awareness rolls. So let's do this. Steve, why don't you give me one of those awareness rolls since you are now stepping forward with trepidation.
Okay, awareness roll with, I'm just going to roll physical dice because it's faster.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you a wheel.
Awareness roll with one wheel. Okay. 25.
Ooh, look at you with that.
Okay, we're going to keep using physical dice for a little while.
You hear a glung, which is my attempt at an impression of a distant, discordant piano noise that echoes out of the palace as if something had just literally dropped on a piano keyboard.
I assumed it was another accent, but okay.
Did anyone hear that? A piano was trying to speak.
No.
Yes.
Piano.
Was that just me?
No, I heard it.
Gigi, was that you?
Did you make that noise, man? No?
Nope.
It was very definitely discordant, but it wasn't biological.
And at that moment,
Okay.
Gigi has a very large gurgle in his stomach and says, I need to find another latrine urgently. And he looks at the palace and says, there must be one in there. I'm sure royalty go to the bathroom. And so he just darts it for the palace, just to go find his bathroom.
Okay, you're a burly, strapping chap who's the size of the doorway, and in your urgency, you take the rusted door off its frame and clatter all the way through. I won't make you roll. Your shoulder barge is powerful enough to take it off its hinges. Within, it is completely dark and eerie. There is no power to light these interior rooms, and so you can't see your way to a bathroom, to a restroom, and there are no kind of electric signs that would signal the direction in which to go.
Well, it's a good thing I have a flashlight then.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh, good. Feel free to flick that on and cast.
We learned last session that we all have one.
That's true. So it's like the Boy Scouts. All right, you flick on your flashlight, and as you do so, looking out of the gloom is a silent, mute observer. Stony faced.
Is there a bathroom nearby? Left or right? Or is it in the back?
He instantly dissolves into the ether, evaporating into the darkness. His spectral vigil ended.
That's fine, I suppose.
You were the only person to see him since you were the only one who burst through the door.
Did he see someone?
Leomi's following him into the building.
Yeah.
Is there a room to my right or left?
There is a large auditorium that you can see immediately to your right.
There's no like little closet, like a broom closet or anything on the left?
There is not. There is not.
Potted plant.
Any bathroom signs? Just look at her. Okay, well, he goes darting into the auditorium looking for a bathroom sign. That must be something. Remember,
the acoustics.
He's a Yofor. He will not disgrace himself by defecating in public. He's got to find something.
Your best bet is probably in the middle of the large auditorium. There is this grand piano on a stage that would provide you with some kind of cover were you to leap to the other side and void your bowels. Alternatively, there is above some kind of projector room that looks like old style cinema. You can see the projector room, you can see the small window above, and you might be able to find your way up there.
He chooses the piano.
Okay. The other side of the piano.
The other side of the piano.
And I'm so sorry for inviting you to this. Basically, just a series of scatological gags, but this is where we find ourselves. You leap to the other side of the piano and find yourself a vantage point to perform your business.
I presume in the editing afterward, you will find a suitable soundtrack.
Oh.
Good Lord.
That's a shitty idea.
To your horror, you find that one of the things that have been left behind in the panicked evacuation of Fangstone is monitoring your own panicked evacuation is an antique Earther surveillance drone. Perhaps that was what had caused the clamor by it's powering down intermittently and landing heavily on the piano. But this surveillance drone, again looking like it's antiquated technology, but its imager is beaming right at you and recording every moment.
Is it being broadcast onto screens in the town square?
It's not,
okay.
But it is safe to say that in the past, the Earther would have used such a drone for the purposes of monitoring malcontents and dangers to the state.
I'm going to take a quick action and shoot at it with my pistol.
Attaboy.
Okay. Give me a roll.
All right.
There must be some way we can be less subtle.
Well, we don't seem to know what it is.
No.
So we'll just let that go.
We need to apply ourselves.
You blast from the hip, taking your...
Yes, he did.
I think that needs
Sword
medical
backwards.
attention if it's the hip.
The drone, the bullet ricochets off the drone and it careers down onto the piano again with another discordant thud, and the whirring within flickers and stops.
Leomi steps forward and peers around the piano and says, "Is everything all right? Are you all right?
Get
I
out
heard
of here!
gunshots. Are you making more fertilizer?"
I mean, at least you'll never lose him. He makes so much noise, and the smell alone.
It's a good point, Beast. Yes, yeah, it's a good point.
Should someone check the drone? It's there. Might be useful.
She'll tuddle over.
Okay, the drone could indeed be useful if now repaired. Alma, you have a couple of abilities, do you not?
Yes.
You have your remote sensibility. You are slightly psychic. You are attuned to the spirits in such a way as that your Hugo, your mind powers will enable you to do an interrogation of this machine and work out what it is useful for.
Yes, I would love to do that. So.
You have mind powers? That's what we've been missing.
Yeah. Or minds, even.
Or just, any mind power at all.
Or powers.
Just the D20? Just a 20?
No, you don't even have to roll for this.
Oh,
You can merely place your paws, your claws.
Yes, it's in my hand, and I'm doing this very professional move of shaking it and listening to what happens inside.
Okay, so good.
Rattle.
Yeah, that will help.
Fitting right in.
Turn it off, turn it on again. This video drone, like I said, was used to broadcast live to the sight bands. The sight bands being this university's version of television. Were you to engage it, it would not only provide you with one wheel to your awareness rolls, helping you to find hidden objects, traps, or clues, but it would also, as a bound object, give you the dream sight gift that will prevent you from being surprised. Effectively, you've got your own little mini drone that would orbit your head and protect you from unforeseen consequences.
She's just gonna take it and start with a nail, tinkering, see if she can put wires back into place. And
do you have any mechanical professions or anything that would suggest that you are able to perform?
But she's gonna give it a good old try.
Would the gunsmithing skill help in terms of intricate machines?
Possibly. I'm sure between you there's a range of abilities that you could look on your character sheets and
I could
profess to knowing in advance.
I could provide guest counsel, which would give a wheel if it's sufficiently adjacent.
I have guide and fence. Maybe I know a guy.
You could,
Fence, I know a guy somewhere.
It's a great skill.
You could sell it.
It was the facial expression. I know a guy.
One of the things that might have pricked up your ears, so to speak, is the fact you are in a diamond mine or very close to a diamond mine, and you used to be a fence, and so you're good at passing off stolen material to people and making a profit, as opposed to Leomi the Alpha, who is pretty much the other type of fence and just lives as a wooden edifice at the end of a garden.
Dividing members of the party on every adventure. Yeah.
I will let Alma make her roll with a D20. I will give you 2 wheels because the mechanical contraption formerly known as Air has decided to lean in and offer his assistance and poke various things for you.
Fantastic.
He's as antiquated as the bots, as probably all lines are.
Ironically, this dice I'm rolling is a dice with a 1 ring in it, and I need to retire it from today's session because it's rolling really badly.
Is it the 1 ring to rule them all?
Yeah.
The one ring to mess everything up.
Yeah, there it is. You can kind of see it. Sorry.
Clearly, the Dark Lord is having a negative effect.
So that would have been 14.
In which case, I will allow you to spend 30 of your valuable minutes fixing this contraption, and then it whizzes to life and whirls around your head with wild abandon, chirping with the incessant noise of a 1980s modem.
Great.
Leomi ignores the noise and bends down to Gigi and says, "Still making more?"
I think I've finished.
Shame.
Oh, is that what you eat? She's very happy with her new friend.
Does Air understand the modem noise?
Not much. It's not going to engage with you in conversation. It will flash warning lights and prevent you from being surprised, and it will also zoom in and provide you with images of potential threats, and that is represented in the game mechanics.
Nice.
So far, it's kind of just whizzing around her head like a
Correct.
large
So
fly.
in this universe, bound objects are the equivalent of magic items, and so there are now 3 that the party possesses. There is both this drone, which it informs you its name is look after, or in Old Norse, lite eftir. Again, there's often very been kissing cousins, these languages. Lite eftir almost sounds like look after. So it is a bound object. CJ, you have the heirloom sword bear paw that you can brandish. That is a bound object or magic item. And Steve, you have forgotten it for a little while, but you did pluck a cigarette case that came from a parallel timeline from the body of that fallen First World soldier, and that is also a bound object.
Yes.
Should you wish to deploy that at some point in the future?
Should you need a smoke?
Should I need a smoke? Exactly.
And otherworldly smoke.
Bill, you have yet to claim yourself a bound object.
His bugs don't count?
I suggest you try harder.
Yes.
We all suggest you try harder.
Leomi holds up his stun gun and says, I have an electric gun now.
Oh,
It
that's
uses-
good.
Yes.
Yes.
Just never drop it, because if you drop it on yourself, that really hurts.
Try it.
I have tried it. I didn't mean
Oh.
to try it, but I tried it once. I don't recommend it. I still have a little bit of a bald patch here. Look, she kind of points to her side. That's where I dropped one.
Don't say dropped one. Again, we have to be very careful with our language.
Oh,
Oh, crap.
Now,
Oh no.
it's subconscious. It must be.
are we spending the next few minutes tasering each other? Is that what the plan is? Because I mean, I did set a timer.
It's part of the course.
I also have these grenades that flash. There, I picked a few things up in town, so I'm ready for a
Bill
lot
was
of things
emailing
now.
me yesterday. They found 50 crowns in the back of the Draugr's ice cave, and
You spent it.
Bill went shopping on behalf of everyone to buy various stun grenades.
I bought small because essentially I'm not a violent creature. I have the electric gun. I have the grenades that flash. I have a shotgun, a knife, and a bow. So not terribly violent. Ready for it.
And Anina, in case you didn't realize, his character is several hundred years old, several centuries old, even 1,000 years old.
1,200, I think. Yes.
1,200.
I didn't get that air of
Gravitas.
the air of
Gravitas.
wisdom.
Sense the wisdom. The wisdom of nature and deep time.
And there's a lot of moss on you.
Yes. Also that, and a lot of lovely bugs.
Is it gravitas or senility?
Senility. Yes.
So while Alma was, you said it was about half an hour of tinkering with the device?
With your help?
Oh, with my help, yeah. I would like to propose that someone keep an eye out, and maybe someone, just throwing it out there, and maybe someone taking a look around for signs that say archives with useful information this way.
I've been watching Gigi. Leomi has been watching Gigi, fascinated by the natural processes. Well, he just keeps going.
Yeah,
it's rather remarkable.
We should find a salt rock for him. He must be dehydrated.
And do what with it?
A salt rock, he needs to lick it.
I'm not hungry.
I'm going to do two things. The first is I'm also going to let Alma and Air discover, as they tinker with the surveillance footage on the drone, you find recordings. It's a bit like R2-D2's jumping to life and showing you Ben Kenobi. You see a recording of a heavy-set Orkneys walking through the auditorium. He walks through, the timestamp suggests it was recorded 20 days ago, and the Orkneys, which is one of those devil corpses we talked about in the beginning, it's effectively an orc zombie kind of creature in traditional fantasy parlance, but again drawn from Norse myth. They are caged spirits in ruined bodies, and it strides through this auditorium 20 days ago, and that is recorded on this device. I'm also going to allow Leomi to just, as well as just keep a medicinal eye on CJ, I'm going to suggest that you do look around the records library, and you can make a wits challenge roll, because you do have, contrary to popular belief, the wisdom of the ages as a gift.
Really?
One has to be selective how often you use it, I find. All right. I'm also using a real dice.
Okay.
With one of the elven rings inside, so it should be better. I
haven't heard any Finnish or Kenwa at all.
None whatsoever.
18 plus 3, so 21.
Very good. So the palace does indeed include a records library, which is full of card catalogues beyond the auditorium. There's also a Gleamer Corp, which is wrestling. Eric Redshirt would have quite liked this had he not been eaten by a sea serpent in episode 3. But there's full of antiques posters calling on athletes to run faster and jump higher, extolling the youth of yesteryear to perform. Anyway, beyond that is this records library, and you discover quite quickly, using your archival and librarian prowess, marriage records that show that Bjarni's wife, Fenja, was originally from Kongstein. There's no corresponding birth record for Daniel, even when you search his real name as opposed to his nom de guerre, Bjarki. But Bjarni Bjarnason and his wife Fenja were definitely from Kongstein.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, we'll end the episode there then. The best you bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Does Leon tell anyone this?
Yes, I tell everyone everything. I found small pieces of wood with information, cards, men talk, and there are records of the family of the other sick man. There's a lot of sick men. The other sick man who unfortunately was ill through a bear ultimately. Yes, so there you go.
He passed through a bear's bowels. All right. You may decide where to proceed to, whether you want to hightail it out of town, whether you're interested in pursuing the diamond mines. There's also places like the swimming pool and the mess hall that you have yet to visit.
Does the information satisfy what we need to prove our case for the deed? I mean, mission accomplished, or do we need more?
Knowing where Bjarni's wife was from, what does that give us?
It doesn't give you anything legal. You can use your legal expertise to work out that it just is a kind of clue. It's a trace. Perhaps Bjarni Bjarnason wasn't always the ornery old trapper without any passable charisma. He was once married. It could well be that he did have a child and that Daniel is his legitimate offspring. Yeah, so it's one piece of the puzzle, perhaps.
Leomi was a reeve, so does that give me insight in how to make use of that level of information, like legally? How to
Air understands custom and law. He could help reluctantly.
Unfortunately, he's dead.
Yeah, I'm right. No, never mind.
I've summarized it already. It gives you enough.
Okay.
The guy was married, and as a reeve, you could officiate at a new ceremony.
Perhaps Gigi would like to marry the beast.
What?
Just a passing thought, not to worry.
He doesn't have enough hair for me.
And she has too much for me.
It would never work.
I think we should go and look at the diamond mines. I think that would be interesting.
Interesting as in it will satisfy the goal of this mission, or just interesting because, I do have a bowel issue. I should probably go home.
We might find something there that'll help. Perhaps something to provide some sort of blockage, perhaps a dam, if you will.
Diamond plug.
Oh.
Wow.
In a
I
mine.
can send this in. At least to the next room. Can I send my little flying friend?
It kind of has to orbit you a little bit, so it can't go off.
Okay.
But it is
Too far.
constantly in close quarters. It does immediately, though, start to beep, whine, and hiss frantically, and were it able to gesture with its various lenses and appendages, it would be pointing towards one of the nearby walls. You didn't see anything beyond just the almost as if something briefly protruded through the wall itself, as if the wall contorted to reveal a face that then just bubbled back beyond the wallpaper.
Does
Perhaps
my
not
remote
bubbled.
sense help figure out what it was?
No, your remote sense gave you the ability to notice it out of the corner of your eye.
Tree sight, does that add anything?
No, there's nothing hidden or invisible, but there was something that appeared to protrude momentarily through the wall, as if they were able to manipulate matter and step through solid objects.
This will sound insane, but Air would like to, assuming this is pointed out, Air would like to approach that section of wall, press his nose against it, and then look through the wall.
Using your black sight.
Using the black sight, yes.
Okay.
Which we determine has a range of nasal.
Certainly, it's the equivalent of X-ray vision, so you need to be somewhat close to the wall, and you do see again as you gaze through, looking back at you with exactly the same X-ray vision are some glowing red eyes and a stony face. You clearly recognize one of your fellow dökkálfar who has been tailing you, drifting between the walls, and now it disappears into the floor itself, stepping below the soil and out of view.
Do I know them?
You don't.
Long shot, I know, but still.
I was tempted to say it was your Auntie Ethel, but no.
Her again.
Her again.
I will return.
I was hoping to hear her voice.
Eric will return to the group and advise them that we're being tailed by one of the dökkálfar, one of my people, who has been watching us probably for a while and who just went through the floor downstairs.
So would they be friendly since they saw you?
Um,
Or is it more of a hates can situation?
If we're lucky, they'll be tolerant.
Oh.
Yeah, I think friendly might be pushing it.
Okay.
Is there anything, back to the archives, is there anything in here about birth records where we could find out about Daniel's birth, if indeed he was ever born?
So, there's no corresponding birth record for Daniel, even under his real name, Bjarki.
Right, you did say.
Oh, you did mention that. Okay. So he was never born. Won't he be surprised?
Daniel? Who's Daniel?
So there is this...
Are you just ignoring Anina?
No. I'm sorry. I was just
We're thinking how to begin to answer that.
I was finishing scribbling.
Trying to remember who Daniel is.
No, we remember.
He used silence. So there is this lunatic named, well, there was this lunatic named Bjarni, who claims ownership of the entire north, like a ridiculous amount of landscape.
Oh, so a warlord. I've met many of those.
Sure.
Okay.
We escorted him to the Troll's Tongue and helped ease his transition into the afterlife.
That's the short version.
Mm-hmm. There is another man named Daniel who purports to be his son, who claims to inherit ownership of pretty much everywhere. And we're trying to determine if this is true. And actually, I think we're hoping to prove it isn't true. So we went back and found Bjarni and found the he had the will on him. Pardon me, the deed on him, and the deed is being verified by the law speaker. And we're trying to find out if any of this is true.
Gotcha.
Well, disprove it's true. Okay, so Daniel was never born. He's clearly some sort of abomination.
He's probably just operating with a false name.
Oh, okay, or that.
Or born somewhere else.
What you know of the Jotnar is that they were all genetically manipulated, birthed on Jotunheim for the purposes of waging war against the Empire. Right. Alma, the beast, is herself a product of the same experimentation.
Well, I'm not sure where to go from here.
I think we should go to the diamond mines. I believe they'll be interesting.
Go to the diamond mine. Let's listen to the wise one. Let's go there.
There should be lots of dark private corners for Gigi.
There, if it's the area, and the area is owned by the dökkálfar, by my people, you will find a complete lack of privies. I think we don't eat, or the other thing.
Okay.
Gigi, you okay?
Well, he's not okay, but
but then none of us are.
Somewhat the point. You will have to at least leave this building, the palace, and find your way back out into the snow-bound paths of Fangstone proper. If you are now headed north, immediately between you and the mines is the old abandoned swimming pool that will provide you with some kind of cover as you advance up the railway tracks that lead up the mountain to the mine proper.
Does this Dverg body have an internal clock? And if so, how long do we have to finish up and get back to the wharf?
You have a good 2 hours. About half your time has been used. It's not like you had to walk far. It's about half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, and you could have covered that in 10-15 minutes.
Okay, so we have time. So to the gymnasium and swimming pool then, on the way to the diamond pool?
Very good. So the door will need to be forced open if you want to go in there, because again, its snow drifts have piled up. Anyone want to put their shoulder to it? Or anyone want to climb through the window as someone a bit more nimble and stealthy?
Alma will definitely shoulder check it.
Okay, give me a
growl.
Give me a roll, a might roll.
Might, fantastic. Ooh.
You can use your Outlander ability to add 1 wheel to the roll as well.
7.
You jam your shoulder against it, but the door is unrelenting and nothing happens. Although, as a result, a flock of white rock yulpa, the type of local bird, they fly out of a broken window nearby, excreting on you all as they make their escape.
Oh, she'll definitely try and catch one.
By all means, give me a slight roll, and I tell you what, I will just let you pluck one from the air and gorge yourself on their succulent flesh. I'm not sure what Gigi will say about just eating random birds, but
ignoring.
It bites the head off.
Gigi's gonna try and hit the door after Alma. Try and kick it in.
I'm not gonna let you do a roll, because you, like I said, you are a sturdy gentleman, and you will send it clattering to the floor with one swift kick. The room beyond the swimming pool echoes like an empty swimming pool without any water in it. The pool was probably quite impressive in its day. There is a mosaic floor that details the 9 daughters of Aegir and Ran. One of the things that you notice is lurching up, staggering to its feet, is what appears to be a half-eaten reindeer, a carcass, little more than a bag of skin and bones, and it begins to lurch and amble towards you again, animated by the ferocity that perhaps comes down from that scar in the sky. Something is bringing the dead back to life, and even though this thing has been half eaten, it flickers back into life. And you also notice, Alma, that as you toss the remnants of the bird you've just eaten, bits of its wings twitch and flutter as if it too is possessed and trying to walk again. It's far too desiccated and devoured to do that. And so all you see is like this puddle of a bird try and stand back up. But the reindeer is lurching towards you. It's more substantial, despite the fact that something has eaten from the contents of its stomach.
Loud gun.
Okay, Anina, you can roll a dice. In your war years, you were something of a sniper. You are potentially lethal with your battle rifle, so feel free to blast away.
Ooh, lovely.
Nice.
Lovely. I'm not having a good day.
Oh dear.
I'm not having a good day. I mean, I rolled a 6 on the wheels, but it doesn't help when you roll a 2.
An 8. Somewhat surprised by the lurching reindeer, you instead blast into the mosaic, shattering the ornate painting and ruining it for generations to come.
I think she was distracted by the now somehow delicious looking again bird. This is now alive again. It's alive. Right, I'll do this.
Fortunately for you, the decomposing reindeer isn't the most nimble of combatants, and it lurches its way into the empty pool and falls with a thud to the bottom of the swimming pool, unable to climb up or use the ladder. It continues to just butt against the side of the drained pool and will not cause you any threat. However, the sound clearly did echo loudly. And in rejoinder, you hear across the breeze a long, harmonious sound, a song, a siren song, a sultry, beckoning song that speaks to your very soul and entices you towards the diamond mines. Can you all give me a will roll, please?
Sure.
Love to.
17.
Attaboy.
Also
You are-
17.
You are the shit.
Don't say it.
I rolled a 2 minus 1, so I rolled a 1.
8.
There is this kind of telepathic signal that is emanating from the mines. This siren-like call, hypersonic frequencies that stimulate in biological brains your hedonistic hotspots. Gigi is able to shrug this off, while there is this insistent urge in your mind to wander into the depths. Perhaps it's because you're struggling inside and have got other things to think about, but you don't find the call appealing or alluring. Steve, air is very familiar with this. You are familiar with the call of the Fangstones, a form of sentient quartz that dwell in the depths of Niflheim, molten silicate that creates the chemistry of consciousness, and their empty cages await prisoners. They are used by the dökkálfar as their versions of guard dogs. They create these frequencies to lure in the unwary. You know that is what the sound is, and you are able to resist it. Unfortunately, Alma and Leomi, you are happy to hear the siren song and walk entranced at some speed towards the tracks, walking towards the glittering diamonds that have clearly been laid out on the tracks to tempt people to pick them up, to bring people within range. But you have heard these psychic emissions, these telepathic signals, and you can do nothing but advance towards the dark entrance to the mine.
Gigi, we should stop them if we can. Then again, they were keen on going to the diamond mine. This may just expedite the whole thing.
Yes, that is where they wanted to go, unfortunately.
Okay. They may come to peril if they go up to the diamond mine. Shall we follow?
Yes, let's go kill whatever it is we need to kill, and then let's go back home so I can use the proper toilet.
Quite a lot to kill.
Anina, I'm going to give you 1 trauma for failing that roll. You are also charmed and must rush towards. You begin to run as fast as your powerful Wolverine legs can plow you through the snow. Bill, exactly the same for you, but in your case you take 2 trauma because whilst you are absent-minded and suffer from memory loss, when you do gain trauma you gain twice the amount.
That is good news.
The 2 of you bound towards the dark mine entrance, the others hot on your heels. Just remind me what you're doing, Steve. You were kind of just following them. They are running pell-mell, helter-skelter, drawn in by the siren's call.
What is likely to happen when they get there? Does Air have any recollection of what awaits them?
Oh, yes, you do. I mean, the very nature of this sentient quartz, the Fangstone, should give you a little bit of an idea as to what might happen.
So they're going to get sliced to bits by quartz?
Yeah, this hypersonic song that they are emitting. Again, the dökkálfar use them as guard dogs, and when intruders into their area wander in unwittingly and are lured by the siren song, the stone itself will arise to reveal these colossal fangs and lunge at the unwary, keen to consume their bones and organs and to ensnare their consciousness.
Yeah, Air always thought it seemed a little bit like entrapment to have guard dogs ready to kill any intruders and then draw the intruders in on purpose.
Well, stony purgatory is perhaps a suitable form of punishment in the eyes of your people.
Yeah, think about that, Steve.
I am. It hurts.
Won't you think about that, Steve?
Gigi, we should follow them and we should stop them if we can. How should we stop them?
Stop them? Gigi's going to pull out his storm shooter and cast sharp runes on it.
Okay.
And say, well, whatever's in there, I'll start shooting and cover the retreat. And
that's the most complex plan we've ever had.
Yeah. So, okay, we will follow and wait for the mountain to attack them.
Would it be the whole mountain?
I mean, enough of it, yeah. Mostly the bits that they're running towards.
I think she'd be running on all 4s if this thing is compelling to run as fast as she can.
And it's like watching a unavoidable train wreck approaching.
Alma, your drone buzzing around your head is bleeping frantically, issuing all kinds of howling modem retorts. You plow into the darkness of the mines. CJ, are you turning on your torch?
I suppose so.
Yes, you are. Yes.
I just want to describe this from your point of view as you see the Alpha, the tree, plunge into the darkness. Just at the penumbra of your beam, the light dissipates into the darkness and you see him. You just go beyond the edge of your lamplight, and the same for the Wolverine, Alma, the beast, and then they drop 20 yards from the mine entrance, a false floor that has been laid to waylay any intruders. Please give me both a slight roll, the 2 of you. You're somewhat snapped to your senses by the peril in front of you.
27.
Bill?
All right. Does this count as a challenge roll?
It does.
Can I use wits then instead of sleight?
You can, using your newfound ability to bring out the wiles and the skills of yesteryear. Perhaps you spotted it in advance just at the last minute.
Okay, I get to use my wits, and I have a wheel as well, right?
Correct. You've suddenly transformed from bumbling oaf to wily and wise.
It was bound to happen. 14 plus 3, and then plus 6 for the wheel. So 23.
Two of you perform almost super heroic stunt as you hurdle the pit. Alma, you vault across to safety, landing elegantly on 2 feet, avoiding the trap at the last minute. And Leomi, you do exactly the same, less elegantly, but using your smarts to avoid the doom. However, on the far side, 5 granite faces with bloodshot eyes leering out of the wall, huge fangs dripping with some kind of molten ichor, or stare in your direction, ready to consume you, eagerly descending from the top of the minecart or from out of the pit to pick off their prey.
I would like to cast Dream Monster.
Dream Monster allows you to use your fylgja, your spirit, to render yourself invisible and disappear from view. So you are protected by your ancestral guardian spirits for a brief moment, leaving poor Alma to face the 5 Fangstones directly.
She'll be fine.
So heroic.
I'm guessing. I can't use headshot, can I? This is not exactly a surprise.
No, it's kind of the other way round. Were it not for your drone, you would have been the one that was surprised.
But they're all head. Surely a headshot is the only shot that's available.
Okay, noxious smell. Let's try that. That is my ability.
Has Gigi run up? Oh, I see.
No.
Yeah.
As a Wolverine, Alma has a distinct musky aroma that she is able to emit in times of crisis to distract her foe. And it would be a grand idea were these not creatures of sentient quartz without olfactory capabilities.
Work, but it's kind of like a reflex, so it happens.
I think you ought to, show CJ how it's done and just squirt anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
Where is Gigi in relation to this hole that they
They have let this pit, so a pit dug into the mine shaft, a kind of trapping pit. You are on one side, they are on the other.
Can I see these things?
With your torch beam, you can see frenetic and frantic activity as on the other side of the pit, at the edge of the beam, on the periphery and the darkness, you can see all kinds of commotion.
Does Air know if these guardians would respond to him? To the presence of a dökkálfar?
In actual fact, they are responding to you already. The very nature of these creatures is that you act as a transducer, and it's you who's actually helping convert a signal to the hypersonic frequency. The dökkálfar have a kind of symbiotic relationship with these creatures.
And can Air influence them in any way? Like get them to knock it off and not murder these people?
If you want to yell out in True Norse, knock it off, you can see.
Get your best teacher voice out.
Best teacher voice through the speaker of a 20-year-old computer. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. We'll yell out We come in peace. We are not threats.
Okay. Not much use. These creatures are also horrifying, so I need some more rolls from you. Anina, please make a will roll, and this one is going to be with a whoa. So you're going to roll a dice 20, you're going to roll a dice 6, and you're going to take it away. She's shaking her head, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Bill, same for you. CJ, same for you.
Yeah.
13.
Oh, that's a good roll.
Since I can't really see these things yet, I just see a commotion. Should I be rolling? I mean,
lawyer up, CJ. Lawyer up.
You can see enough. You turned on your torch.
So I can see but do I get a woe? How about that?
Yeah,
or can I just be woefully ignored?
You've already got a win. These are horrifying creatures.
Okay.
All right.
Alma gets the gun out again.
15 in all. We got a 17 minus 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, can I do the wit substitution again? Is that as an infinite thing, the wisdom of ages?
It's not infinite, but you have
so
two
it's
uses.
Infinite?
This will be your second. This will be your second use.
I have a will plus 1, so actually that would put me at 16 overall.
Shine your torch on that. So I could use it a second time, Ian, but then it's done until we do a rest. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So I rolled a 7 plus 3 plus 5, so 15 altogether.
So Steve, just you.
A will roll with how many woes?
One.
Just one. Oh, well, just one. That would be. Oh yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, that's a very small number. So that's 2.
Because you gain a trauma from this, Steve. So please add a trauma for the horrifying roll. You instantly, with your narcolepsy, shut down and go to sleep.
You know what? That's probably the best response.
As usual, your resident sorcerer, your scratcher, in the face of horrifying adversity, has just powered down.
Yeah.
Really, the most sensible response, I think, is to just have a nap until it's all over.
All right, so summary of the situation as combat begins. Your Dverg sorcerer has powered down and will need to be woken up before he can do anything. Your Alpha healer has gone invisible in order to avoid the repercussions of standing in front of 5 Fangstones. CJ, Gigi is on the other side of the pit, is immune to the fear, but is separated by a gulf from Alma, who is immediately in front of 5 off-world creatures made of quartz that threaten to rip her limb from limb.
All right. Are we?
It's not
a gun out.
It's not great.
This reminds me of. It's just I have that that nervous tick. What was it? It's
uncontrollable laughter.
Disorders and afflictions. Yes, unusual behavior, uncontrollable laughter at inappropriate moments. So, seeing Air fall asleep and our other 2 friends about to be torn to tiddly bits. Then on from the other side of the chasm, you hear.
It does echo eerily down the mine shaft, and unfortunately for you, alerts yet more dökkálfar who begin to swarm up from the depths.
Glad I remembered.
Sure, they said. Let's go to the diamond mine, they said.
It will be a holiday, they say.
We'll get rich.
Anina, fast turn, short turn. Fast turn or a slow turn?
Fast turn for Gigi. And is there anything above that a rope could catch on to?
No. You've got to think of it as it is a mine shaft. There's wooden supports. You can't loop anything over the top.
And then I'm on the other side of a chasm, and there's no way to cross it.
not a chasm in the sense that would be bottomless, but a trapping pit that was designed with a false floor to cave in when people lured by the siren song rushed in. It was tripped and triggered by our two hapless heroes, but they did not plummet to the bottom.
Alma, well, since she's done her, she's all puffed out, as in fur, all puffed out. She's done her stink. That doesn't work. She is going to feel outnumbered, and it's very rare for her to feel outnumbered. She's going to still on all fours, make a leap across the chasm.
Okay, give me a slight roll. You may do so with a wheel using your outland ability. And CJ, do take notice, about how someone creates a stink to escape and then vaults to safety. This is how you do it. I haven't seen you on all fours enough.
I'm glad to see.
Yeah, that's how you...
I'm glad to see CJ nodding his head. I was about to insist on a wellness check. He hadn't moved in a while, and I was afraid he'd passed on.
Not actually just a character died, but a participant died.
Yeah.
On
It would be a remarkable high point for the series, but anyway.
Anina, give me the critical roll.
So one. Do I get one wheel?
You get one wheel, and you get to add 4 because you are
Yes.
a nimble Wolverine.
Yeah.
Good luck.
High. Oh no. What a way to go. I rolled,
I can tell.
1, and my wheels is a 1. Okay. So that is 6 altogether.
I'm going to say this, that you launch yourself into the darkness, your claws scrabbling at the side of the pitch, trying to gain purchase, and then into the darkness below, into the depths, out of sight, the Fangstones gnashing at your retreating feet. The last your comrades see of you is as you disappear into the darkness, snapping and snarling and cursing as you do so.
Can we have a fly you fools moment? Before the claws.
Yes.
Before the claws give out.
The Vikings and Valkyries podcast is hammered together by a dedicated team of Skalds and Smiths. Please don't forget to like, share, and sacrifice to the old gods.
Oh.